Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing frequent opponent of mine, Vanticullti 2521. This guy's really good. Let's go e6 in this position, and we're going to get a Semi-Slav. Plays g3. I'll go knight bd7. I think it's pretty much a given that this guy's at least an IM or a GM. He's super strong. And the way he plays, there's no indication that he would be any weaker than that. Let's go bishop b7. I suspect he's going to go knight bd2 and just try to win back this pawn. But I do get c5 in fairly quickly if I want. I could also play c3 in this position. You know, let's go c3. Let's just break up his pawns. I gotta keep up with my time in this game because I know in the past I've gotten into a time scramble with this guy. Ooh, this could be bad actually. I wish I hadn't played rook c8 because there might be some problems with my d6 square. He didn't take advantage, but... Okay, so what happens if I just take on d4 now? If I take d4, probably he takes my bishop on f8. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to take back with the knight. Should he recapture? Or should he capture on f8? We'll just pre-move that. I don't think rook c1 was the best idea for him. Now his knight is hanging. This is nice, actually. If he goes queen b3, I can play, what, bishop d5, maybe? Okay. I'd like to support this pawn. Queen d5 is interesting. Queen d5 actually looks kind of tough for him to deal with. Let's do that. This is a really risky looking move. I think I can get away with it though. My next move will be knight g6. Okay, he just does that. He's just going to go for trades. Yeah, makes perfect sense. And I'll just go here. I'll try to keep simplifying. He can go knight c6 maybe. But if he plays knight ec6, I have e5. So he doesn't want to do that. Okay, yeah, he's just going for simplifications. Let's just go here. I'm kind of expecting this to peter out to equality soon. Yeah. Let's just go rook over. This is very equalish now. Yeah, he's trying for something still. But let's go here. Maybe rook d2 was better. Because actually I'm not threatening rook a5 in this position. So I just got to be careful where I put this piece now. Knight b6. Okay. Yeah, let's go rook here.
Check. Check.
This guy's really fast. Got to be careful, like I said. Tough opponent. Flip this now. You can go knight b6, though. Huh. Alright, let's take there.
Check.
Yeah. I think I'm doing okay, but my time situation is poor. So that's a problem. My structure is a little messed up too. Let's do this. Yeah, debatable if I can draw this position or not. Guess we'll find out. Given the time, I'm not optimistic at all that I can draw this.
Time warning.
It is a knight endgame. In knight endgames, you know, they have to be evaluated like pawn endgames a lot of the times. My structure is poor though, and I'm down a pawn, so you know, work cut out for me, and downtime, the most important thing. The most precious commodity of all, time. Let's just do this. We'll try to simplify. I got to get some exchanges in. Let's go here. Try to do something. Really?
Check.
So now if I can just eliminate that last pawn of his, I might have a chance.
Check. Check.
Okay. Oh no! I almost got the pawn. I couldn't quite do it. I couldn't take the last pawn. Alright. I lost a few points there, down to 24-11. Oh, I was so close. Really? I thought I had enough time to do that. That's a shame. Let's just have a look. I thought in the opening I was doing well because I'm not sure about a4 in this position. Usually the way white plays this line with g3 where they're sacrificing the pawn on c4 is they're going e4 instead and trying to dominate the center. But he chooses to keep the pawn back on e2 and keep the diagonal open for the bishop. So a4. Now the point is I have to play b4 because I can't respond to a6. This is like a common move I'd like to play. But if he takes, I'm pinned on the a file. So I can't take back with my a pawn. So I'd have to take with a c pawn, and that's just horrible. I mean, at the very least, he has knight takes b5, but he probably has other stuff like knight e5 hitting my rook. So I can't do that. Often the litmus test for this is if your bishop's already on b7, and white has played a4 to undermine your pawns, you're okay in playing a6, because in that case, your rook on a8 would be defended. But that's not the case here. So I played b4. He did this. Now, I'd really love to play c5 because that's a freeing move for me. Another way to treat this position might be bishop a6, having in mind like knight bd2 and then rook c8, and again go for c5. So putting the bishop on a6 has some merit. I actually kind of like that plan now that I think about it, because it might make it harder for him to win back the c pawn. If he plays queen c2, for instance, and I go c5, and he takes, he's moving right into the pressure down the c file. So that's probably not to his advantage. So maybe I should have considered bishop a6 here. Let's just see what the engine says. Yeah, it likes bishop a6. Likes black quite a bit. So I played bishop b7, and then advanced c3. I'm not really expecting to be able to retain this pawn, but I would rather liquidate his center and especially get rid of his d-pawn and push my c-pawn to open up my bishop. I know he'll have to waste some time in winning this pawn back at some point. Yeah, now here I was speculating about rook c1. I think my move rook c8, I wonder if he could take here. I kind of panicked about that for a second, because I looked at if bishop takes, then knight d6 is unpleasant, when I'd have to give up my strong dark square bishop, or important dark square bishop defends my king. But maybe I would just take with the knight. Yeah, that's probably fine for black, actually. No harm done. So he played rook c1, and then I took on d4. I thought I was doing fine here. Ooh, yeah, more than fine. Take on d4, and I'm almost -2. Because I'm attacking his knight. So he took f8. Oh, I wonder if I could have played rook takes c4 in this case. I didn't even think about that move. I think I pre-moved knight takes f8. But, well, I don't know if this is worth it. He can take on g7. And I did get rid of his dangerous knight, but this is a little less clear. Probably still to my advantage, though, because these pawns are nice. Especially that protected past c3 pawn. So I should have considered that. But, yeah, queen d5 was not good, huh? I thought I was getting fancy with this move. I was trying to exploit the fact that his bishop on g2 is undefended in many lines. But yeah, rook c5 looks like a good idea. That pressures the knight on e5 as well. But now if queen takes d4, he would just lose a piece, wouldn't he? Then I take on g2 and his knight's hanging. Rook c5. Tough move to find in the Blitz game. So I did this, and that just allowed him to take. Yeah, and I guess the engine thinks I might have something, well, not so much anymore. a6 to keep his knight out of b5. That makes sense. I think by the time we get here, it's pretty much level. Yeah, a6 would have been a handy move, because his knight coming to b5 was actually pretty irritating. So I should have played a prophylactic move like that. Yeah, if anyone's better here, it probably is black, just slightly, just because of my king position. But what did I do? This? Yeah, I thought this was about even. I should have gone rook d2. Yeah, after I played rook d5, I mentioned that that wasn't that great of a move. I played it having in mind the idea of rook a5, but knight c6 check is always an issue. And note that I can't play rook d4 right away because he just forks and wins. So I think rook d2 would have been more constructive, winning a tempo on his pawn, and then potentially being able to go over to a2. If he were to make a break for my pawn on a6, yeah, I guess I probably would end up doing something like this, and then putting the rook behind the pawn. Well, I see the computer doesn't like that. It says, get your knight over here right away. I would have to take some care, because this pawn could become dangerous, but I think I have enough resources to stop it, especially with my king being in the vicinity of the queen side to assist. Yeah, so rook d5 was inaccurate.
Check.
And he got the better of me in this phase of the game.
Check. Check.
Played a lot of accurate moves, and he was playing them very quickly, too. Yeah, eventually I went for his a-pawn, but he took here.
Check.
And he did a good job of keeping control at this point. Now I'm down a whole minute. I mean, I think my fate was like almost sealed. I'm actually pretty surprised I was able to liquidate it all the way down. And I was just one tempo short at the end. So here, I see that the engine prefers that I keep the rooks on the board. But I don't know. I feel like my drawing chances will be better in a knight endgame rather than a rook versus knight endgame. So I did this to pin him. I don't know if this is a win for white or not. I mean, he's up a pawn, and my pawns are kind of a mess. But given that the play is confined to one area of the board, this is not an easy win. I'd be very interested to know what people think about this endgame. I sort of feel like black should be able to draw, although it's going to be tough, needless to say. If this pawn, if my structure was okay, like let's say I had pawns on like, I don't know, f7, this pawn is on h6, then I think it's a much easier draw for black. And I don't know that it ever got that bad, although, okay, around here it is. Apparently he can infiltrate with his king. So I needed to do something more active, like e5 check. Yeah, that's interesting. So he could have brought his king in like this, and my knight is running out of real estate to operate. Like if I go check king d6, knight b6, looking for freedom,
check.
Yeah, I can run into problems with my e-pawn. So now here he has knight d8, picking that up. Yeah, given the time differential, this is nearly impossible for me to hold. So you guys kind of saw what happened at the end. Yeah, around here I think I'm holding. Especially when I'm able to take and then play g5. Because the more pawns that get traded,
check,
the more my drawing chances increase. Yeah, and this is now even.
Check.
Yep, and I just couldn't quite
Check.
get... How much time did I have? Okay, yeah, I didn't have that much time. See, I wasn't able to... I probably should have pre-moved something in this position, but I was not sure if he was going to play knight f3 check or e5. And my 1 second did me in. I just didn't have enough time to get his last pawn. So, okay. playing Vanticullti is always a pretty nice matchup. He's very strong. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I'll be back with a couple more videos today. Thanks, guys.